Brian Malahi again along the freeway, I-15 in Riverdale, where a small plane has crashed, and that is the wreckage. Unfortunately, according to UHP, there are casualties here. We don't know how many. Ambulances have been called, but nobody's been taken away from the scene. And we've been discussing this with witnesses here who have been looking at the images, and also were inside a nearby building when it happened. Yeah. Let's go to Randy Polson. We were speaking to you earlier about what you saw here, and you said that the plane, you think, took off from the Ogden Airport.
Definitely come from the north, coming towards the south, trying to gain altitude. The sound of the engine wasn't sputtering, but it was really struggling to gain altitude. It was super loud, would grab my attention. Then it made a right bank. As soon as it started to make a right bank, it went vertical drop straight down onto the freeway.
And you estimated that the plane might have been 300 feet in the air at the time.
Probably a good 300 feet.
Okay, and after the plane dropped, what did you see next?
After it dropped, it caught everything on fire. It was a big black, solid red ball of fire, and the plane ended up where it's currently sitting over there right now. Initially, it hit right here where the glass was on the freeway. And the whole freeway is on fire, as well as this grass area that was put out by the fire department within minutes after it crashed.
What about vehicles on the freeway at the time? I mean, there was traffic. This is a busy stretch of the road.
All I could tell you is I seen a semi, and he stopped over here on the right-hand side of the road that drove over some of the debris. He was probably right in the path of the plane, but he stopped, and all the other cars behind started stopping, and then that was about where it was at when all the policemen started to arrive and direct traffic and stop the traffic.
Was there anything that anybody could have done related to saving someone in this plane?
It was such a ball of fire, such a big engulfed flame immediately on impact. There's no way you could have survived it.
And then the emergency response was quick here.
Very fast. Yeah, I got to give them very, very much credit, because they did a very good job. All different agencies was here extremely quick, probably within 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay, do you work in this building right here behind?
This lady does.
You do. Okay, and you could describe for us what it felt like, what you heard as the plane was going overhead.
We heard the plane coming over, and you could tell it was different, that there was just something different about the engine. And I said, that does not sound right. And then we heard the explosion and looked out in a big ball of fire. But we get them flying over us quite a bit from the Ogden Airport.
Here comes one right now. That's when he went down, right there. Okay. So he had to come back a little bit to the freeway.
Correct.
Right?
He was trying to come back.
He was looking.
It looked like he was
trying to find a place to land.
He was trying to find a place to land, and what a miracle that he didn't hit any cars. Nobody got hurt. Some were saying that he was trying to come around and maybe land in this field over here, but didn't make it.
Yeah, freeway maybe he was trying to land on. He could have tried to get back to the Ogden Airport, but he didn't have a chance. When it dropped, it went straight vertical.
Yeah. And this plane that the planes that fly over all the time, they're pretty close.
They're close,
right?
They are really close.
And
yeah.
I think you told me earlier that it feels like the building, could be hit by one of these planes. They feel like they're.
It sounds
the
like
sense that it's so low.
Yeah, like they're going to land right on top of our building.
But this was different.
This was different. It was like he was trying to excel something. You could just tell that there was something different about that engine. And then he hit, and it just shook the building. Our phones went out, and we all were evacuated. Yeah, we looked out the window and could see everything on fire, and it was just coming up towards the fence.
And to see this today, it must have had almost a surreal quality.
Oh, scary. One of my coworkers, she said, do we have to come and work tomorrow? Do we have to stay in this building? Because we get them flying over all the time. It is scary.
And had this been engine trouble prior to when it happened, maybe
he would have clipped the corner of our building, and we're upstairs in those offices.
This going to be like this for some time because we have UHP on the scene. We understand that there is a body that is still inside the wreckage. We don't want to get so close to show that, but just a terrible, terrible situation out here in Riverdale today. And we have a sense now of what occurred. We think that the plane had taken off from the Ogden Airport, was flying overhead, circling, the engine sputtered, and then it went down hard in the median. And what we've learned in this second Facebook Live is that people seem to think that the pilot was trying to get to a place where he could land this plane safely. And it is remarkable when you look at this scene that cars weren't hit or trucks weren't hit, that others might have been injured had this turned out differently. But it appears that the pilot, who was headed to the west and then banked and went down, was trying to avoid hitting anyone on the ground. We're going to be following this situation. You can see the people who are looking at this out here right now. Fire crews are on the scene, but the blaze is long out. There are a couple of office buildings right here along the frontage road, and people have emptied their offices to come outside and to take a look. Here is the tape that is shutting off the freeway and the police cars that are not allowing any northbound traffic to come through. On the other side, you'll see some trucks and cars. It looks like one lane at least is open on the southbound side. We do not have a name of the person on board the plane, and we don't know if there was actually a second person on the plane as well, so we'll try to get that information. But as you can tell by looking at this scene, police, Utah Highway Patrol, firefighters, extremely busy. And so getting an official statement right now is very difficult. We've heard from witnesses. We certainly have a clearer picture, and here comes another plane overhead right now. Again, that's the flight pattern that this plane had taken today, and it appears that, according to Randy Polson, he got up about 300 feet, banked, and then took a nosedive, and that is the result. Facebook Live right now in Weber County. More coming up on Facebook, Twitter, and on 2 News later this afternoon.